Hello, hello, guys. How are you? It is Wednesday, February 17th, and it is 2 p.m. And a good afternoon to everybody. I guess let's get started here. It's Startup to Enterprise, which is this is going to be chapter one. We're going to be doing a couple of different segments of this, um, and basically further chapters, and kind of just be bringing it further along. Some of this stuff is somewhat basic. There's going to be certain things in here and going to be questions that people are going to have, even for those people that have been doing stuff like this for quite some time, and sort of the thought process about why we do some of the things that Jake and I do and the things that we've been testing and experimenting with as well. It basically comes down to differentiation and foundation. With any online business, we've found that if, you know, the more that we can make ourselves different and the more things that we can do that are completely different than what some of the other companies out there are doing or what some of the other websites are doing out there, always kind of just puts us into a category of ourselves. We like to take a look and see certain things that people are doing themselves so we can emulate the good things that they're doing, and then we like to try and expand upon that to different things that they're not potentially doing. And what happened is as we started doing this, it kind of brought us into other different facets of our business as well. I'm just looking for my pointer here, Jake. There we
Oh,
go. Okay. So, welcome to Some Easy, guys. Welcome to the webinar. Feel free, guys, if you have any questions, just jump right in there and you can ask away. And if there's anything that we didn't get to, we're going to be posting up where if you guys are not on the Facebook group yet, where you guys can jump into the Facebook group. And for those people that were interested in the Skype group, we will have a sign-up sheet for the Skype group as well, which we will be putting out at the end of the webinar. So, with that being said, Jake, do you want to just talk about Eric Schmidt for a second? Because I know how much you were actually the one that kind of really turned me on to this, and then we kind of discussed this and kind of brought it into reality afterwards.
yeah, sure. I mean, everyone knows Eric Schmidt and his association with Alphabet or Google, as it's formerly known. He's, I believe, like the 140th or 130th, somewhere between there, richest person in the world. But he was really in charge of taking a look at what Sergey and Brian did with their algorithm and figuring out a way to monetize it and make it profitable. So when we were looking at our brand and looking at our technologies and trying to figure out the best way to make it monetize it and make it profitable, we really took a look at what Eric Schmidt did with Google, and a big part of that was brands. And his statement on brands here has rung true, be it talking about how Google has developed itself into Alphabet or talking about how they try to handle and tackle spam issues. They've really taken this statement to heart, and that's what you see on the screen here. Brands are the solution, not the problem. Brands are how you sort out the cesspool, and brand affinity is clearly hardwired, and it is so fundamental to human existence that it's not going away. It must have a genetic component. So every business you have to create a brand identity around it. Now that's pretty much what he's saying here.
Yeah, and basically what it's saying is, and this is the part that we really took from it, because as we started going through all the Google patents back in the day, they made a very big distinction between a website and a brand, if you will. There were certain brand signals that they would be looking for. There were certain things that they would be looking for to differentiate a website versus a brand. And when you take a look at it, there are tons of different e-commerce websites out there that just sell stuff. Then there are e-commerce websites out there that they don't just sell stuff, they are a brand themselves. And if you ever take a look at the search results and who Google rewards, they always reward a brand versus just a quote-unquote website. A quote-unquote website will pick up the slack when there is no brand present, or if it's such a long tail that, but even if you look at some of these brands, right, Jake, that have such authority, they'll even build out, surf shaker style sites and stuff like that. You'll still see some of these brands that just absolutely dominate just because they're a brand. They don't even mention the specific area that they're looking to target or whatever else. It's just that there's so much authority, and Google actually views them as a brand that it allows them to rank across all these different long-tailed keywords, even though some of those long-tailed words are not even on the page.
Oh, absolutely. Great example. If you're looking for oil coupons or savings in your area, chances are you're going to find a Valvoline styled, a Serp Spiker, locally built niche site.
Yeah, I mean, some of it has to do with the way that they've designed their sites as far as, they have local locations and stuff like that, but some different industries have absolutely nothing at all, and they just still absolutely dominate. And
Absolutely.
what we found is, as we've been doing SEO, even for companies that are looking to have a nationally established, brand presence, or even a locally established brand presence. Local is one of the greatest ways to establish a brand. You don't need to be a Staples or a Best Buy in order to have an established brand at a local level. But we'll get into that in a second. All right. So what we're going to also, what the foundation of all of this really also jumps right into online reputation management and the initial online brand building. So I know that in the Facebook group we had discussed online reputation management, and I have to be honest with you, we've jumped so far into online reputation management that um, there is just so much money to be made, because there are companies that they'll go out there and they say, oh, we'll try and clean up your Yelp reviews, we'll try and clean up this, we'll try and clean up that. If you don't own the first page of Google, it's very hard to control your online reputation. So what we do is when we go out there, we control that first page of Google, or even sometimes the second page or the third page, depending on how far the client wants to go. And then in turn, we can control their reputation as far as what's being seen and what's not being seen online in reference to them. It works really well with companies. It works really well with local companies, but it works really well with individuals as well. Just a simple example, right? You type in Best Buy, and we're just going to use, I mean, this is a big brand example, but you type in Best Buy, and obviously you see the pay-per-click ad at the top. You'll also see right off the bat, Best Buy, they have the search box right there, which that search box, actually you can include that on your own website, and we can talk about that, not in this webinar, but later on. That's just some code that you can add on your website, which will actually give you the search by, which will give you the search box in the SERPs as long as you have enough authority. You see the indexed links, that automatically is an indicator that Google looks at this website and this brand name as a quote-unquote brand. If you look at the Twitter, as soon as you start seeing the Twitter and you see the two breaks for Twitter, where they have the two results coming back in the search result pages, that's also a gigantic indicator. But by far the largest indicator, right? I'm looking for my pen here, Jake, but you know what? I guess I don't really need it. If you look over here to the right, grab from Wikipedia. I mean, this is obviously the ultimate, display that Google thinks that you're a brand. But you don't need all of this, even if you're trying to just do local search and you're trying to establish a brand presence. But this is just like, the pinnacle example of, if you can get all of this, then, obviously you are the brand amongst brands. All right, so branding a local business, it basically elevates them to superstar status. If you can do branding on a local business, not only does it help, because local businesses, people love to leave feedback and comments. Let's face it, when people leave comments, they tend to be bad comments. They don't normally write in, hey man, this company's doing such great things. But local businesses usually put up a website, they concentrate on their map listing, and then they just kind of leave everything else alone. They do absolutely nothing else. So even just some branding for a local business will actually allow you to grab almost the entire SERP result, if not, the goal is to grab all of it. And it will absolutely amplify that business now for their local keywords. When I'm saying branding, you're trying to grab and solidify that brand name in a SERP result. And by being able to do that, it will actually roll right over to the keywords that you're trying to rank for as well. And basically what we're doing is we're building trust. We're building trust on others' authority. So have you guys ever heard of Parasite SEO? It's not exactly the same, but we're going to be building out profiles, and we're going to be interlinking those profiles, and we'll be building out the trust from other people's websites, from other websites, places where Google is looking to see, okay, are they listed here, or are these guys just faking a website? And when I say faking a website, the website itself isn't fake, but you're just trying to fake the authority that you may have. Unfortunately, you got to let me go back here. unfortunately, you got to take a little bit of extra time. And for those guys that do a lot of mass page building, we'll get into exactly what we do with that as well. So first step, if we're doing a company or we're doing a small business, we'll create a small bio. When I say a small bio, we'll usually write up one small bio, which is about 200 words. We'll create a long bio, which is about 1,000 words. And then we'll just take that and kind of spin it around. We'll actually throw it into, we can throw it into any of the spinning programs that we use. Like we like to use Spin Rewriter. We'll kick out a copy of it, and then we'll actually go through and really make sure that it's extremely readable. We don't want to just throw out a jumbled mess because this is our reputation online, and we are trying to brand build. But what Spin Rewriter will do is replace certain paragraphs, replace complete sentences, and then allows us to really get complete unique versions, almost saying the same exact thing. But each one of those, before we post it, we go ahead and we reread it, and we make sure that we have to make any tweaks to it or whatever else. We got to kind of do that by hand, that portion by hand. All right, let's see here. All right, so when we're talking about building out different profiles, we're talking about building out certain authority, we're talking about using other people's authority. Obviously, every brand, every major brand, and we've gone through and kind of done our own research where we've grabbed approximately 500 different brands. Now, what you're seeing on your screen is not all the different places that those brands will show up, but each one of them, and I'll show you the sheet shortly, every single one of them has a Twitter. All of them have a LinkedIn. All of them have a Facebook page. All of them have a Google Plus page. All of them have a YouTube account. They have Pinterest. They'll have Instagram. They'll have basically, the 8 majors, which we'll call them 8 majors. That's sort of like the basics right off the bat. It's almost what almost every normal person that's online, even, I'm looking at my son who's 14 years old. He has, he has his own YouTube account. He'll have his own Instagram. He'll have his own Pinterest. He'll have his own, Facebook, Twitter, the whole 9 yards. So at a basic minimum, that's what you're looking for. But we like to take that to the next step. The reason being is that there are a lot of opportunities out there. Everybody always talks about great link building opportunities. And the link building opportunities, and I had asked it on the Facebook group, like what promotes a really good link? What constitutes a great, powerful link? And once again, it's relevancy plus authority equals rankings. And a lot of these, since you control all of the content that you're putting in, you can create the relevancy. The authority automatically comes from these websites. And once again, it's pretty easy to be able to just create an account and put in your information, a couple of backlinks, 1 or 2 backlinks basically to all of your other profiles and interlinking them. Sort of like an IFTTT, and I'm sure that some of you guys are very familiar with IFTTT, but we don't set up the IFTTT. Jake, you still with me, brother?
Yes, sir. Still here.
Okay. All right. All right. So the first thing that we do right off the bat is we create a spreadsheet. Now, I'm going to be uploading this spreadsheet to the SEMeasy Facebook group. For those of you guys that are not members of the SEMeasy Facebook group, you can just go to the website, go to SEMeasy, in the drop-down under Discuss. It will give you a link to the Facebook group, and you'll be able to ask to join right there. So basically what we're doing is, and the reason why we do this spreadsheet is for multiple reasons. Jake, let me see if I can even pull up a spreadsheet here. How can I pause my screen here real fast just so I can look through and grab one of these so I can share it?
There should be a pause button there, but I could also grab control of you for the meantime.
Okay.
And
I think I paused the screen, didn't I?
What?
Do I have the screen paused?
I don't know. You'd have to tell me. It's not moving on the screen.
Okay. All right. So you might be able to see my screen now, correct?
Yep. Now we can see it. Perfect.
All right. So, guys, basically how we're doing this, and once again, this is what we do. It might sound pretty basic, but this is what we do right off the board, right up. Hold on one second. I got somebody asking to join the SEMeasy group. All right. The reason we do this is twofold. A, we have our workers that will actually work on this, but we need to have a spreadsheet set up so we can just go back and forth, especially for any online reputation management client. What we'll do is we'll go through and, you know, right off the bat, we'll create a username. So let's say, let's come up with, anybody have a name of a business that they want to just show, will show a real sort of Reader's Digest version of how this would work? Right here, you know what, we're going to go with Atlas, Atlas furnaces, furnace repair. I don't know, Atlas. Let me just see if somebody's going to throw something in here so I don't have to just make something up here. Joe SEO, all right? So that's going to be our username. Somebody owns Joe SEO Services, all right? We create a primary email. Usually we make it a Gmail account. So what we would try to do is, if we can, Joe SEO at Gmail. All right, we're going to put our password in. We're going to put our location in that we created this for, because we have a lot of clients in different areas. We might need to use proxies and stuff like that, which we can get into. We create a secondary email. This is usually a Yahoo email address. Third one, maybe a Hotmail address. Different services, like Flickr will require you to have. Flickr requires you to have, I think, a Yahoo address because they're a Yahoo property. Other places will require you to have a Hotmail address. So we get them all set up to begin with. What we basically do is we'll go to Facebook, we'll create it. What we do is we paste right in here what that URL is that we create, Joe SEO. Okay. If it's a profile, if it's a group, if it's a fan page, whatever the case may be. Same thing for Twitter. Joe SEO. And the reason that we're going to do this, guys, is because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be grabbing different, as we're building out these profiles, we're going to want to be interlinking all of these different profiles. So as we get into like the About Us, as we get into all of that, we're going to just basically want to grab each one of these. And, look at that. The account was suspended. We're going to want to jump into each one of those and basically just be able to link them right in. We're going to want the username that we use, the password, and the email address. Once again, we do this because if we have some of our VAs that are working on this and stuff, we want to know what it is that they used in order to get into it. Sometimes they'll log in with a Facebook account, sometimes they'll log in with a Google account, and then we'll have a very difficult time trying to get into that account a little later on. What we do, so I'm gonna upload the just a raw sheet on this, and it gives you a whole bunch of different places. Once again, the more you do, the better off it is for yourself. But you don't need to do all of them. I'm going to show you the ones that I believe that you got to kind of really focus on. Where we, one of the nice, safe, easy places that we go is we'll go to Noam right off the bat. And if anybody has been on any of our past webinars, you know how much we like Noam. So here, let me just show you how Noam works real fast. For those of you that don't know.
You don't know
here. What's that? If you don't know Noam, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to type in here, Joe SEO, all right? And what it did was, right off the bat, it's telling me on which places that username is still available. Vimeo, WordPress, TypePad, Upstream, Issue, Foursquare. And then as I scroll down a little bit further, it also tells me which domains are available. But I can also search for other networks as well. So once again, it's really all going to depend on the type of either online reputation management that you're doing or the type of brand that you're trying to build for a specific company, whether it be yours, whether it be a client's. It will tell you right here through for blogging all the different the different platforms that your username is available on. Bookmarking, if I want to just click on this category, it'll automatically go ahead and check. And then what's pretty cool is, like, so for instance, Bitly, I can click on this. I can click on this. Okay, so once again, gimme bar. I don't even know what this is, right? But if I'm logged into my Twitter account already, the Twitter account that I set up, and I usually do this in a incognito platform, and I'll log into my Gmail account, I'll log into my Twitter, I'll log into my Facebook, because from there, a lot of times, that's all I need to do. And then I'll just sign in with my Twitter, boom, click on sign in with Twitter, and I'm automatically into that account. I go into the profile section, and I start to work up that profile. In one of the next trainings, I'll show you exactly how we work up a profile. But the first thing is that you're going to want to secure the ones that you want to secure first. So depending on what type of business it is, and once again, in here, there are certain ones that are specifically, let's say, for real estate. There's certain ones that are here for, tech companies. There's certain things that are here for, Angie's List for home improvements. If you don't fall into the category, we'll try to make it work, but if we can't make it work, then we just don't. We go ahead and we leave it alone. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll just secure the username and obviously not use it. I don't plan on using all of these, but the more of them that I have, and the more of them that I have interlinked together, the more I'm expressing to Google, this is a brand. Let's face it, if somebody puts up a website, they're not going to go through the trouble of doing all of this. And somebody might say, look, this seems like a whole lot of work. It's really not. You can use, we use, like for instance, we'll use a bunch of different form fillers. There's plenty of different form fillers that you can use as far as on Firefox. You put your information in. As soon as you hit a form, boom, it goes through, and it fills out that form. Then you got to just go back and check your email, which is the reason why we leave that email open that we created, so we can just go ahead and verify, yes, we signed up, yes, that's us. But once again, a lot of these websites have made it pretty easy that you can automatically log in with your Facebook or log in with your Twitter, so you're not sitting here and you're not trying to, create a new account all over God's creation. But you need that spreadsheet in order to be able to get back into that account later on to find out if you did it through your Twitter, or if you did it through your Facebook, or whatever else, in order to get access back to that account again. I can click on communities. It gives me all the different communities here. I can go through the design. I can go through entertainment. And once again, it does most of the hard work for you. And when it says available, I click on it. And if you look at my lower left-hand corner of my screen, it will bring you right to the registration screen for sign up, which is really kind of cool. And like I said, we absolutely love this. They do have a paid service. I'm not affiliated with these guys. However, when they first came out, I actually jumped on the phone with them and I had spoken to them. They actually have a service that they'll actually do it for you. Depending on your clients, depending on how much time you have or whatever else, it may just be worth for you to buy it. There's a couple of different services out there that will do something very similar to Noam as well. And what we'll do is, we build that right into the price of whatever we're doing. So, let me just see here. I have this screen here. Okay, this is the most popular. Just wanted to scroll down here. Okay, so like they have something right here. They have different usernames. They'll create you 100 profiles. The Noam profile, which is their own profile there. For $249, they'll do 100 of them for you. 150 of them for $349. Now, the nice part is they do it, and it's all completed by their staff. So they've done this stuff day in and day out. But all they're basically doing is they have, they probably wrote a whole bunch of macros that just go ahead and just fill out everything for you. You could do the same exact thing. You have a VA that's just trained on how to do this. So it costs us not a whole lot to get this completely done. And what we'll do is, we'll create this out for basically any client that we first start out with. And we want to get as many of them as humanly possible because we don't want to give up any potential brand opportunities that we may have. Jake, I didn't want to cut you off. I know that you were starting to talk.
No, it's all good. You pretty much covered it all.
All right. So once again, we did a live version, but once you just put your brand name in here, you click check it, you go through, and you start to fill out any of the profiles you don't have. Once again, we create a working spreadsheet. We start with these. We always start with your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Google+, your YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr, and WordPress. Really, that left-hand side is what we absolutely start with, because as you start going into these other accounts, those are the ones that they're going to be asking you for over and over and over again. What's your LinkedIn? What's your Google+? What's your Facebook? What's your Twitter? You know, what's your Instagram? What's your Pinterest or whatever else? So you want to have all of those created to begin with to start. And then as you go through all the different, all the other profiles, you want to start to, you know, make sure that you're interlinking all of them. The reason that we like to go with these guys here on this page first is because as we build out some of the other profiles, they may only give you, let's say, 5 or 10 places that you can link to, and we'll grab a mix of these. These tend to rank the best, and there are others that will also rank somewhat well, but these are consistently the ones that rank the best. And once again, you can easily grab the first 2 pages of Google with just this, plus your website and stuff like that. So we fill out all of these first before we start to go on to the rest of them. Now, the cool thing is, once again, you're going to interlink all the profiles before indexing them. And we're not going to go ahead and create that IFTTT. Jake, do you want to go over real quick? I mean, we were discussing whether we wanted to do whether we were going to, back in the day, we were going to start doing the IFTTTs, or whether we weren't going to on this. And we decided for certain brands, when we were trying to really hone in on a certain brand, that we didn't want to do an IFTTT. We decided for, you know, brands that we were trying to fake, if you will, that were in lower competitive markets, the IFTTT model worked really, really well for us. But for a bigger brand, we didn't want to just have, you know, just the syndicating content going all over the place.
Absolutely. I mean, there's 2 trains of thought here. One is you get what you pay for. So you could think of that as the client's going to need to pay you more money, so you're going to make a bit more money, but also you're going to have to spend a bit more money and time to get them what they need. But also you get what you pay for, in the sense that the better the quality, the better the authority and the relevancy you're going to have, and ultimately the better rankings you're going to get in the long term. So when we looked at IFTTT as a potential solution to solving our syndication problem or syndication challenges, we saw that there's the potential to use it in a way that would be beneficial to our clients, but ultimately for the higher paying clients, and as Andrew was saying, the clients in higher tiers of competition, it really wasn't the ideal solution, and really couldn't compare to a manual, you know, brand building, social brand building, to be precise, effort or campaign. So we sat down and we tried to figure out what the you know, best alternative was to that, and we really decided that we have to do it organically. We have to grow it, but grow it in a optimized fashion, of course, and pass the, you know, not really the savings of the optimization, but, you know, pass the cost of the higher tier performance onto our clients, and that's exactly what we did.
So yeah, so basically what we did was, if we were going to do this for an end user client that was a relatively big client, the whole IFTTT just didn't. It works well and it performs well, doesn't look so hot, right? And what we found was we couldn't go into certain enterprise level customers with that offering. But we found other uses for the IFTTT. Like, for instance, we actually would go ahead and even on some of the local funnels that we were making for some of those clients, we would go ahead and build out an IFTT, a small IFTTT network, and we actually found that that was enough branding, just even for those small funnel sites, that it gave them a whole lot more authority and stuff. So it was actually pretty cool. Once again, you got to just you got to make a decision about which way you want to go there. IFTTT is great if you wanted to look if you're looking to rank some of the videos and stuff like that. But for some of the branding stuff, it's not exactly what we were looking for, and it's not exactly what the client was looking for. So we tended to stay away from that, at least for now. All right. If you guys can take a screenshot of this or write this down, this is actually pretty cool. If you guys aren't aware of this, what we do is after I'm going to go back here. So let's say we go ahead and we create a SoundCloud account, all right, or a Mixcloud. We go right here, we pop it right in, boom, instantly indexed. I mean, I'm talking about almost instantly indexed. Yeah, let me. I'm looking for this. Actually, let me go here. Incognito window. All right. Somebody give me the name. Somebody give me your name of. Give me your full name if somebody's in here. All right. Somebody's asking for sites that require a phone number for the sign up. What service do you recommend? Well, most of the websites here, I mean, except for Twitter, Facebook, I mean, Twitter really is requiring phone numbers quite a bit now. We've actually used the same number oftentimes in Twitter, and it works just fine. Oftentimes, we'll just set up a Google a Google phone number. We can use that, or what we'll do is we'll just go buy a disposable phone and use that as well. We're not doing it enough that we have to. We're not doing it enough that we really have to worry about, generating tons and tons and tons of phone numbers. Okay, I got. Let's see here. Justin is in the room. Justin asked. Oh, look at this. I like how Justin has his Twitter showing up here. Very nice. Look at you, Justin. Look at you. All over the place here. And I can see that, you already got a Mixcloud here. Do you have a SoundCloud? Justin, do you have a SoundCloud account? Because I don't want to try and write over your, yeah, you got a SoundCloud account. Oh, your mother, you've been doing this. You've been doing this already. I remember when we were talking about it back in the day. All right, hold on 1 second. I'm going to. Holly's also saying I can use. We can use her name. She's already got a SoundCloud account. Now, you guys see here, I mean, the SoundCloud accounts really, they do very well right off the bat, usually within page 1 or 2. You got Tumblr, you got... Holly, do you have a Mixcloud account? I just wanted to show somebody something really... Because, funny, I don't think that's me. Let's see. That was a SoundCloud? Yep, that was a SoundCloud. Okay. All right, so basically just go right through the sign up. You can join with Facebook if you wanted to. Put your email address in here. I'm just trying to think. Let's see here. I don't know if it's going to let me use... enter in. Probably won't let me. I don't want to start creating new email accounts right this second. I don't think it'll let me use Mailinator. Okay, it will. Let's just go over here to Melanator real fast. Melanator, for those of you guys that don't know, is just an email service that allows you to use their service to throw all your spam emails in or whatever else. Okay, so we don't need to go ahead and verify the account. So let's just okay. So Holly's into ambient chill out. She's into pop. She's into rock, reggae. She's into talk and soul and funk. We're just going to grab a couple of different people here that she wants to start following, just to make it look like this account has some stuff going. I'll get it later. Okay, now let's get listening. And I'll take you to your dashboard. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to my profile. I'm going to add a biography. Okay, display name is going to be Holly Starks. Okay, so now once again, it gives me up to 1,000 characters, all right? So I'm going to want to fill that out as much as I possibly can. We're going to put her in the United States. We won't put her in Uzbekistan or wherever else. We're going to make her. I'm going to make her in 1980. We're going to make her in New York. And once again, you're going to want wherever you're trying to build this out for, you're going to want to do. This is great for instance, this is great for personal SEO or whatever else. You can put take your picture, upload the picture. You should keep your picture consistent because Google will then understand that picture is now displayed to you. All right, so let's just do this real fast. Master, here we go. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. But master, submit, here we go. What's going on here? How come?
Oh, you're logged in. Just
yeah.
You got to go to incognito. Yep.
Yeah. Now it wants me to sign in here, Jake. Right this second. I don't know why.
They might have put a redirection on.
Well, if they did, they just put it on. Hold on one second. Let me just see something here. Okay, they changed it up. Hold on one second. All right, take off the AC at the end. I don't know why I popped that in there. I am not a robot. Submit. Why do I keep putting the
CK there?
All right, you guys can see this, right? All right, let's just take a quick look here.
Probably take a while for it to load up in there.
Yeah, I found that sometimes can take. Sometimes it's pretty instant. Sometimes it'll take just a little bit of time, a couple of minutes. But like I said, that is it usually works almost instantly. Hold on one second. All right. Somebody was actually asking in reference to the telephone number. It says there's an app on the iPhone for an extra line that is free and uses your current carrier, no extra charge, called Sideline. All right, awesome. Sideline, guys. I haven't tried it, but I definitely will. And Maggie says she's late to the party, but it's no problem. Welcome, Maggie. What was the Webmaster Tools login again? I will post that. Hold on one second. Let me get back to here. All right, so this is it, but actually take off the minus AC. Just use, it's google.com/webmaster-tool, webmasters/tools/submit-URL. I will remove it.
I found the Mixcloud on page 3,
Ah,
so it's already popping up.
Okay, very cool. I'll have to I'll jump in there in a second, and we'll show everybody. Let me send this to all. Okay, that just got sent out to all. All right, so let's go here again. Holly Starks.
Yep, I see it in the 7th position on page 3.
Okay. So once again, I mean, we basically put no information there at all in reference to her. But, you know, right off the bat already showing up. So if you got somebody with a pretty obscure name, or if you have a company that doesn't really have, you know, much branding at all, you could start to see, once again, Mixcloud and SoundCloud is really for individuals, but you could throw your business name in there anyway. That spreadsheet that I'm going to send, that I'm going to throw up to the Facebook group, that'll have a ton of different places. And once again, it's the places that you feel comfortable. And what I would ask is, if people find their own places that they like to post, share them, because there's going to be plenty of places that we don't know about and that maybe, you know, you guys have had great success with, and we just haven't even checked it out yet at all. We can go here real fast, and my profile is only 50% completed. Okay, once again, you can go through a whole bunch of here. So I got to do the profile image, the cover image, and account connections. Let me, as you can see, boom. Once I'm logged into my Twitter, my Tumblr, my Google+, my SoundCloud, all of these, I can connect them all together, and obviously it makes the profile that much stronger. From current slide. All right, so this is the URL for those people that were asking. It says if you drop in a sitemap URL there, will it index the entire sitemap? I haven't played with that. What I do is I do one-offs. Each profile that I create, and I know that once the profile's done, I throw it through that. It says the URL is not working and wants us to sign in. Yeah, then create a new Google account and use that just to ping this stuff out then. I use it through my regular Google account. It doesn't really make much of a difference. I push it through. I'm not hammering them over and over and over again. You know, I'll create a bunch of different profiles. I'll ping out 10 of them at a time. The following day, we'll create another 10. I'll ping them out. Following day, another 10. Ping them out. And that doesn't seem to trip any sort of, you know, you're a robot type of stuff. Okay, and Holly is saying, yes, Andrew, if you throw the sitemap right in there, it will index out those pages. Look at that, nice little tidbit there, huh? Can you get nailed for overuse of that tool? Once again, as I said, you know, if you don't feel comfortable, obviously, using your regular Gmail account, create another one and use that one. Kind of use a disposable one, and boom. And Holly's saying, as long as it's not a crazy number of URLs in the sitemap. So, you know, I guess if you're looking to ping out a website and get it indexed relatively quickly, I guess you could throw your sitemap in there. I wouldn't put a lot of, as Holly's saying, she wouldn't put a lot of URLs in there, so I wouldn't do it on your mass creation pages. But what I would do is, like I said, I ping them out like a sniper, one after the next, after the next, after the next, and I find that works the best. All right, so let's. All right, so this is only the beginning. With this knowledge, you can start with your online reputation management and with the foundation of your online brand. On our last webinar, I was telling you I got a phone call from a guy who was looking to get some ORM done because of the fact that he had some well, I don't want to say it was horrific press. There was a lawsuit that went on, and he was involved in it, and it was now causing him not to be able to get other business deals that he was looking for and stuff like that because this stuff was showing up. Jake and I had looked at this, and just with a simple rolling out of these profiles, we're able to push that content back about 5-6 pages, almost less than a week. So once again, not a bad deal at all, and we only charge a couple of $1,000s to do it. So once again, the online reputation management, when it comes to being able to clean up the mess that somebody's already made, and we're not talking about like they got some bad Yelp reviews, they got some bad this, they got some bad that. We're talking about some really bad stuff online. There are other ways to be able to get rid of some of that information, but the first thing you really need to do is build a really good, solid foundation. And once again, for your brand as well. When we walk in the door, Jake and I walk in the door, and everybody's always heard the whole, oh, you're an SEO company. We never go in with we're an SEO company. We normally come in with we're going to help build your brand online. We're going to secure your brand with online reputation management, making sure that we have a solid foundation for you, and that's what's going to help you rank across the board. Plus, all the other SEO stuff that we're going to be doing just is a culmination of everything. Much easier intro than, hey, we're the SEO guys, and it sounds like they got 25 emails before lunch in reference to SEO guys from India. It's not exactly, we like to position ourselves completely different than just, hey, we're the SEO guys, and we're going to be doing some really cool stuff for you. Once you start doing brand building and everything else, once you start doing brand building and discussing brand building and discussing online reputation, it's a game changer for them. Holly was asking about where do we find ORM clients to begin with. Well, it's kind of interesting. We actually didn't find any ORM clients to begin with. They originally found us, and then there was a lot of referrals and stuff like that. And then what basically how it stemmed out was that we would reach out to we had different friends of ours that were attorneys and stuff like that. We would speak to them, and they would throw our name out there as a value add to any of their clients that had particular issues, and they loved it. So it was a very, very easy sell. I mean, attorneys love stuff like that because of the fact that and we love them because of the fact that they already can go out and vet the person. They can know if the person can pay for it, whether the person cares about their online reputation or not, and they can make the introduction, and we're coming in under their authority, if you will, as far as the trust factor goes. So that's really the best way to, if you're looking for that type of work. Let me just tell you, if you're not looking for that type of work, you're kind of crazy because there's just so much work out there in reference to that, and nobody's doing it. Nobody is doing it at all. I had an extra slide here, so I'm going to delete this slide. All right, what I'm going to do is, for those of you that are not in the Facebook group, I'm going to be posting that spreadsheet up there in reference to that Facebook group. This is the bit.ly. So you go to this bit.ly link right here. Let me just grab it, and I will put it into the chat. We were going to be firing up the Skype group as well. So if you guys go here, you can just put it in there. This is for premium members, and what we will be doing is, like I said, firing up the Skype group. And once again, we'll be going over a lot of things in the Skype group as well. Between myself, Holly, Jake, and Andres, we're going to be divvying up who's going to be really focusing on the Facebook, who's going to be focusing on the Skype, but we'll all be there. So, definitely not an issue there as far as communication goes. Jake, we were discussing that we possibly might get rid of the chat on the site and just bring that over to a Skype, but we got to make a decision there. We're not 100% sure.
Yep, that is correct. SemEasy.com itself might go down for an hour or so tomorrow afternoon as we transition onto better servers. Just a heads up for everybody here. And we'll send out an email notification before any of that happens as well.
All right. Does anybody have any questions at all? We've also made a conscious effort that we want to try and keep the webinars under an hour. So we could probably go over this stuff forever, but what we're going to do is we're just going to do a chapter 1, a chapter 2. Next time what we'll do is we're going to get into pretty heavy duty how to build out some of these profiles and what they should be looking like. Hold on one second. It says, what services can you provide a client that is super easy to maintain and you charge $500 a month for? What services can I provide to a client? I can provide all sorts of different things to a client for $500 a month. But what I would probably do is I would probably build out a handful of these, 20 of these different profiles each month, properly link them, put up some content, and then add that to maintaining for the next month as well. It will only help build out their authority and their brand more and more. Sort of a brand building on a slower basis, if you will, for the $500 a month. What people truly don't realize is that if you the more of these profiles that you build out, the more solidified your business actually becomes, and the more trust Google actually builds within the business. Somebody who's trying to just create a fly-by-night business, or this is just a website, we're just selling some stuff, they don't go through the trouble of creating these profiles at all. These profiles also have PA, if you're going to go through Ahrefs, they'll have PA links, or I should say DA links, domain authority of 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, some of them. So everybody's always looking for that beacon of links that will say, oh, I really want to get a link from a DA 70 or whatever else. There's a whole slew of websites that are begging you to put your content on them, and if you don't use those first, I think you're kind of silly. Are we recording this? Jake, I will defer to you. Are we recording this?
Yep, it says we're recording, so I hope it actually is.
The idea is a low maintenance service. Money, I'm not 100% sure what. Like I said, what I would do is, as a low maintenance service, I would be building out these profiles for them every month. Properly interlinking them, and it's building their brand all along the way. It's pretty low maintenance. Either that, or like you said, what I said is, I have a VA, and I'll have the VA build out a handful of them a week, index them, handful of them a week, index them, handful of them a week, and index them, and keep moving forward. I don't think that there's any better thing that you could be doing. Link building is wonderful, but if you don't have a profile, Jake and I had discussed this. Jake, I don't know how far we want to get into a lot of the de-indexing issues that people were having and stuff like that, were really because of the fact that websites would get a lot of traffic coming through them, no links. Things just seem to skew. you're building out profiles and you're building out a proper profile and everything else, your website is much less likely to ever get hit, period.
If you use sites like those micro worker type sites, you can get these done for like 25 cents, 50 cents a piece, with the right instructions. Take the time to go through step by step, screenshot everything, put arrows to everything using Snagit, or I have Clarify here on my Mac computer. But you can really, if you really make it super simple to where anybody with little knowledge can create them, then you can just put them into the I used to use Smart Sheets back in the day to tie up Smart Sheets with Amazon Turk, and I used to get these created like super cheap.
Yeah, and then you just need the usernames and passwords to get them all logged in and everything else.
Right, and I think part of my task was that they needed to input the username and password. If they didn't, then I wouldn't approve the 25 cents or 50 cents or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's a great way to get it done. Also, if you happen to have a VA on staff, it's a really easy task to assign them as well. Let's see. We got a. Oh, you still here,
I'm
Andy?
trying to read through it. Yeah,
Yep.
Maggie, we're going to be uploading that on the Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm just reading through the questions. Sorry for the dead air. It says, Brian is saying you may have mentioned it. I was a little late, but if the sites don't offer preset fields to connect these accounts, where should we link them together? About Us page? Yeah, like I said, basically what we do is we've explored out a lot of these different websites. There are some HTML areas that will allow you to drop links in them, even if they don't have a connect portion of the website. Um, you know, we like to try and take notes on those, that if there's other places that we can link the websites together outside of just the connect places, that we go ahead and we do that, and we will put a little note on it. I'll have to see if I can find one of our spreadsheets that have all those notes on it. But yeah, there are usually places, and then sometimes, if not, usually more times out of none, they'll allow you to at least link one website. We link it right back to the home page of our home website, because what we'll do is we'll create a page on our website that will have all of those social profiles and everything else on them, just so Google can make the link that this website is associated with these, and these are now associated back to the website. Okay, hold on one second.
Hey,
All right, guys.
I have a question. Can I ask a question quick?
No, there'll be no questions.
On your OMR clients, do you normally do any press releases also? I mean, besides
Yeah,
the profiles?
we do, but the first thing that we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll build out the profiles. It's always our first step. I don't want to give too much away, but like for instance, with some of our online reputation management clients, what we'll do is the first thing we want to do is obviously identify the keywords that they're having issues with, that bad press is showing up, and we've actually figured out certain ways of being able to try and, if the circumstances are right, we can actually replace that SERP result in the Google SERP with one from that, just literally replace it. So if they had something bad on, let's say, Boston.com, we would be able to create other content on Boston.com, fire some links to it, do it proper, do it in a proper way, and it would actually replace, because it was more optimized than the bad press that was already sitting in the SERPs. And oftentimes, what will happen is this one will just, swallow up the other one in the SERPs, and the other one will just be gone. It's still on Boston.com, let's say, but it's no longer visible, because the good one that we just created and we just fully optimized is the one now sitting in the SERP, because Google's like, oh, we only really want to put one of them from Boston.com in the SERP result, and this one is a heck of a lot more optimized for this keyword than this is, so they just swap it out. So yeah, we'll do that quite a bit, but there's a lot of different ways that we'll go ahead and we'll try and get rid of it.
Okay, cool.
We're going to go into that a little bit later on down the road as we go more into online reputation management. But once again, I think that you were asking, Hala, before how we get customers. The best customers in the entire world, the best place to get leads are attorneys. They have tons of different people that all have problems. And a lot of times, the press has already put stuff out there in reference to them or whatever else, and their clients are now, you talk about back in the day, remember all those WSOs that used to sell about desperate niches. Online reputation management doesn't get more desperate than that when somebody's seeing their name and just stuff that they don't want to see about themselves are out there all day long. They're willing to pay to get it removed. All right, guys. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump off. I'm going to upload that spreadsheet to the Facebook group. And hold on one second. I got one or two more questions. Let me just throw here. Andrew, do you guys put NAP on these? Yes. If they NAP name, address, phone number. If they allow us to, yes, we do. There's some of these profiles that don't really allow a proper NAP, Brian. So, like I said, if we can do it, we absolutely do. All right, here's a great question. How do you deal with the fact that Google is now placing Google Maps right under their AdWords, pushing down the natural results pages? Okay, so basically what we do is, depending on what it is, if we're trying to optimize a local business, then we'll go ahead and we'll try and optimize our map listing, usually with citations, and there's a couple of other things, but we can actually do a whole training on Google Maps if we want to. But as far as the brand building, we don't concentrate as much on that as far as right from the beginning. We just try and concentrate on building out the profiles and interlinking them together. We can definitely get into map listings later on if you guys want to discuss that, but it's going to kind of throw this whole thing for a curveball, and we don't have to go on for another hour of something that I'm not really prepared to jump into right now as far as the question goes. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys stopping in. I will upload that in about the next 5 minutes, and I will speak to you guys soon.
Thanks for jumping on, everybody.